All right, team players. We're in the same building tonight.
Woo!
We're bringing you our DFS lineups today. We'll run down what happened last week. And it just so happens that Joe is running away right now. But we had some good lineups.
Sure did.
Some bad lineups. And we're hoping to bring you some good lineups this week.
So here we go, baby. Let's dive right into them. So, wrong button there. Why is that doing that, Bob? All this learning new buttons and stuff. So, yeah, as you can see here, we got registered here for a bunch of lineups. So we'll actually make sure we're in them all. This is the main we got here.
All right.
Set the lineup here.
We didn't even do your promo.
We did do the promo. We got
promo.
click the promo. I love that too much.
We're all out of sorts.
All out of.
Welcome to Local Football Flavor, where we talk to local fans to get the real information of what's going on with their team.
All right, we're back.
Sure are. So, Bob, have you made your lineup before we start here?
I have made a lineup. It is true. I don't know how I feel about it, so maybe we can work this out together as an audience to see what happens. I got to pull it out of the phone here. I'm really looking at that. I'm really looking at the top money spent that you could spend this week, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but I do feel some tingly feelings for Josh Allen. I don't know if I'd select him right now. I got to check my lineup. But
let me give you mine here, Bob. We can go through it here. See, I was very official in pre-writing it down. So I started off going a little bit expensive here. Number 3 on the board with Christian McCaffrey.
Ooh, against the Rams defense that can't seem to stop anybody.
Can't stop anybody, baby.
They are ranked 1.
He's the only player on that team, and they got to utilize him like crazy before they trade him. So
we did talk about trading, so I'm like,
all that butts.
I think he needs to go.
Oh, I think he's going to go. And the other one who I think he's going to go like crazy, or else you're going to murder his quarterback. It's Aaron Jones.
Don't tell me that.
Dude,
I don't think that's a good pick at all.
Oh, I know you don't, but I do. And we all know how I build my lineups, everyone.
His lineups are built to win. Mine have just gut feelings, and sometimes they smack, and sometimes they don't.
They're also built to put Cooper Kupp in them, and that's why they win.
Even with that foot injury?
Yeah, he said he's playing, and if he's playing, he's getting 5 million catches.
5 million catches, 80 bajillion yards.
Then I'm going to the guy whose other competition is in the walking boot in Tyreek Hill, which means Waddle is going to get the rock forced his way. I think he should be like 8,000 this week.
Who's even their quarterback this week?
Doesn't matter. But it's going to be Teddy Two Gloves because they penalized Miami last week for murdering Tua.
Yeah, but I don't think Teddy Two Gloves is even starting. I think it's like Shaq Thompson or something like that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Waddle's getting the ball. He's our only viable options. And then let's go to a guy who's going to be in a shootout here. A guy I told you is going to get a lot more love as Juju gets thrown on our bus here. Mr. Valdez-Scantling.
5,800, that's expensive.
That's pretty, I don't know, man. I think I'm getting a lot of value out of him there at 5,800.
I mean, it is value, but I mean, it's expensive for him.
It is. He's also the same price as George Pickens. Then we go to tight end world, and we just get stupid prices on the tight end.
How about Travis Kelce? We were talking about that, putting him in the lineup, and that was disgusting.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You could have put Taysom Hill and Travis Kelce in the lineup.
I
didn't. That was just good.
Flex of the year right there. But I'm not touching either one of them the week because I have spent a lot of money hence far. But I am going with Higbee because one of the two of them are going to get a gajillion passes.
Boy.
And then if you look, we only have 5,000 left per person. It's time to slam on the spending brakes. So I'm actually going to type in this in the old flex category. For someone who might be a controversial pick, I think he's going to be the steal. They are forcing Daniel Bellinger the ball like crazy. They give him a handoff to run the ball in. They're not giving him the targets yet, but he's clearly growing in that offense, and Baltimore going to make you score. So that's the answer there.
That's kind of a sexy pick, actually.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. And then we going way downtown on the cheap line.
Way downtown.
Oh, wait. We just literally picked this one a price tag. Those hot Atlanta Falcons. I like Atlanta for two reasons.
That's gross.
First, well, they're going to run the ball. So they're going to own it. San Francisco's going to want to run the ball. You get two running teams, you get lower scoring games. They should not be
It
the
lines
lowest
up.
price one.
It lines up.
Yeah. You know, I would.
Who's the top one? Because I go to the top defense. I just want to.
Your most expensive defense is who it should be.
Yeah.
Anyone facing the Steelers.
Woo!
And if you're saying that there's no real quarterback for Miami, that makes sense why the Vikings would be there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that leaves me 7,600 left for my quarterback.
Who are you trying to get?
Not Cousins, not Brady. It's time for him to emerge.
Ah!
We're going with
Why?
Aaron Rodgers, baby.
Why?
Line
would you
it
do
up.
that?
Because Aaron Jones, Rodgers connection is going to be balling, man. He's catching 3 touchdowns like he's Kelsey. This is going to be awesome.
Disagree.
Plus, I felt if I would have gone Stafford, I was 100% all in that game. I'm really actually debating throwing Stafford in there instead of Rodgers.
I wouldn't, because for the reason that we said, the volume wide receivers and players are the better play than Matt Stafford right now at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And Rodgers isn't going to keep being inept forever. It's just the way it is. At some point,
he's
going to be
with
worth
that, but you know, we
had
all
to
have
do
our,
it.
We all have our issues, and yeah, I'm not all about that life right there.
All right, so we saved that.
You
one.
took 2 tight ends.
I did take 2 tight ends. I needed that options here. So we look for there. That only got put in the one. Where are my other entries that clicks upcoming? Bob, where the hell do they go?
I don't know. Go to your full roster. I don't know.
Should be upcoming?
See, we bought into a couple lineups.
Finding 8 of them
We
pregame.
did not set them yet.
No, we did not.
So I would go with go to live. It's probably in live.
They put that same lineup in every single one of them. All right, so we're going to edit these as we go.
Yeah.
They put that Rodgers line for all of them, which we're obviously not going to be doing.
Okay.
Lineup number 2.
Let's break this down here. So,
all right, at least I was able to find that. It's good.
So I am also sitting here going to myself, how are these lineups going to look this week? And I built this lineup, I think on Wednesday, actually. I think I built it on Wednesday.
All right.
And my piece that I'm building around here is Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis went off last week against the Steelers, as we predicted, as most people predicted. And Kansas City defense is likewise, they don't look good.
No,
they don't look good at all. And so having the opportunity to get Gabe Davis for a cheaper price than Diggs, about $2,000 cheaper than Diggs, I think is a very good play. And I could see him again getting deep and, not having so many catches, but having a lot of yards in the Rashad Bateman mentality of things.
Well, that's what he is, yeah.
So I played around. I also played around with Marquis Brown, but I didn't stick him in the lineup yet. I'm still thinking about that.
You got enough money to think about Hollywood.
So
where are you spending your money at?
So the next person I'm putting in this lineup is Alec Pierce, Indianapolis wide receiver. He costs $5,900. Right there.
Yeah.
He has been getting a lot of looks from Matt Ryan lately. They play Jacksonville.
That's a lot of targets. They're going up. Yeah.
I really don't know.
Jacksonville basically ended their season earlier in the year.
Jacksonville has a lot of good components, and that game could easily be a very low-scoring game, and I think it will be a low-scoring game. And in those low-scoring games, I feel like you're going to be trying to get the ball. I mean, Pittman's probably going to be doing really well in terms of volume, but Matt Ryan seems to be getting along really well with Pierce, and so at $5,900, I think it's not a bad play. Similarly, like your play at $5,900 for Valdez-Scantling. I think they're about the same in terms of what they're going to offer you.
Well, Valdez is going to get you more downfield yardage, and Pierce is going to get you more volume. But I like the guy who's going to be in a shootout more than what could be a slog against Jacksonville.
So then, so this is where I'm kind of undecided at. Go to tight end, and basically for lack of a better option this week at the price, I put Taysom Hill in this lineup. I'm not sold on Taysom Hill in this lineup, but Andy Dalton is still supposed to be the starter.
Yeah, you're going to get some passes out of him.
And so he
got 100 rushing
until he gives me a reason not to trust him. He's going to be in the lineup, especially in my own fantasy lineup.
Yeah, he's stealing goal line touches like crazy.
I could foresee that George Kittle at 5,700 could be a good value play here as well if he decides to get the ball from Jimmy Garoppolo, but that's a question for another day.
Mm-hmm. The one I would consider if you're going cheaper is Ertz, though. It's like 5,700.
Yeah, I thought about him as
Seattle sucks.
I thought about him as well. Speaking of that game, go to running backs. And I'm going out on a limb here. James Conner's down, Darrell Williams down. Eno Benjamin is the starter and costs 6,300.
That is way too much for a backup.
He is starting this week against Seattle.
Where did he go to college at, Bob? What do you know about this guy?
I have no information, zero information about this guy.
All right.
I know his name is 3 letters long and that his last name is actually a first name. That is what I know about this guy right now. So I'm sitting here going.
So strictly opportunity.
Like I said, I'm not sold on it, but strictly based off of opportunity. Seattle, who did Seattle play last week?
Seattle played, they scored the most points they'll ever score in their life.
Who'd they play?
Oh, damn. Why am I blanking?
Was it Atlanta? Did they play Atlanta or did they play New Orleans?
Okay. It was the Saints.
The Saints lit them up with the rushing department.
Click this to make sure that that's accurate. Right? I want to make sure it is accurate.
The Saints.
You're looking for who Seattle? Yeah, Seattle plays.
Yes. If you look up the Saints running backs from last week.
Hey, here you go.
I mean, you look at Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill, you probably can't even see his yards because they're not.
Taysom Hill ran for over 100 yards and scored a touchdown.
And then Kamara still ran for a bunch of yards. And I'm sure Ingram ran for a bunch of yards.
That was a weird game, though. Like, neither one of them had scored in forever. They both just scored 1,000. Seattle will score. I mean,
I'm not suggesting that he is the most optimal play on the board, but at 6,300, he allows me to play Dalvin Cook.
And that's what you really wanted.
Dalvin Cook had his game last week.
Sure did.
And as we said about Miami's defense,
they can stop the run.
They can, but they're not that great. I mean, they played the Jets last week, and Breece Hall said, "I'm coming out, and I better get this party started against them." And Dalvin Cook is a much better player.
Yeah, there's no fight in the world about that. Bring out some J-Lo references over here.
I don't know what reference it is, but I know it is a reference.
That might not even be J-Lo. I might just be totally wrong on that.
All right, people want to see your face on the screen, maybe.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Here, but you got to get your face on the screen.
I don't even know where the hell I got to sit.
So, my next pick.
That's just weird.
Speaking of the New York Jets, I'm taking the defense this week.
The Jets defense?
I hate Aaron Rodgers so much.
You know he's not throwing an interception, though.
That I feel that they might not like.
That is 4th from the bottom.
It is, out of all of the bottom tier defenses, it is the offense that I have the least amount of confidence in to score points.
Wait. You have less confidence in Green Bay than you do in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many points has Green Bay scored this year? Look it up.
This is fair.
Look it up.
This is fair. I just look at Rodgers when he turns it on.
I look at Rodgers and he turns it on, and I could be in for a shit show. I agree with you with that. I'm totally on board with that. But the Jets, they got swagger right now.
Jets got swagger. That's your argument? The Jets got swagger?
They got swagger right now. And it's cheap. It's cheap.
It's cheap swagger.
And so then I come back up on the board.
How much money do you got left? You had 72 a pop, man. Oh, you could spend some cash.
I come back up on the board, and going to that San Francisco game, I'm putting in Deebo Samuel. he might not be the best play this week, but his price point is pretty good.
Yeah, he's not normally that low
at 7,600, and I feel like Atlanta's secondary is definitely beatable.
Oh, it is.
And this game is going to run through Jeff Wilson, but Debo is going to get a lot of looks this week, I think. And I don't know how many he got last week. If we can just go for what he had last week.
9 targets last week. He just didn't convert on them.
He didn't make any plays on them. But when he has the targets and he does make the plays on them, he's popping.
It's hard to fight him, yeah.
So, I mean, at 7,600, I'm willing to take that to the bank.
I agree with that.
Then I'm putting in Kirk Cousins in this lineup. I wanted to go Josh Allen. I wasn't sure how much money that would leave me, so I didn't.
Well, with Cousins, you have 66 left.
Right. So
it depends on who you buy for your flex.
Cousins, I feel, is a good play against Miami's secondary because they're all kinds of messed up right
Miami's
now.
in a hard spot right now.
So as I'm sitting here, a lot of those players at the 6,600 range are definitely messed up. There are 2 players that shine out to me at this value range. One of them is Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I can see that.
One of them is Travis Etienne. Both of these plays are...
I'd rather have Walker than Eno.
Both of these plays are pick your poison style, I feel.
Well, no, because I know Pete Carroll's going to hand the ball off 5 million times.
Yeah, but I feel like Travis Etienne has the better talent, but they're playing the better team.
Oh, no, that Colts defense is overrated, man.
Yeah, but I don't think so. Arizona's run, and that's where I'm kind of like on the fence with it because we have our optics on Arizona, and all of that shows us that they're not that good.
They're not, but they score a lot of points, and they let up a lot of points.
Arizona's defense is somehow, in every ranking that we ever look at, is like better than we think they are.
Yeah, that's true.
So when I see that and I say, okay, like Arizona's beatable, but maybe it's the day where they don't want to be beat. But Indy's team,
Etienne's stacking up his rushing a little bit better.
They already played Indianapolis once.
Yeah. And when he played, he only got 6 points.
And Etienne, but that was the second week of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's getting more. He's been targeted more. So he's offering a little bit. Just look
at their defense against if you look at that,
mm-hmm.
Just to click off, not the shit on my own point. They were 8th against the run in week 2. Since then, the Colts have dropped to 17th. That's a defense in decline. That puts an argument for Etienne in my
So,
house.
like, I'm sitting here going, I still have...
That's the right call, man. How much money you got? 200 left.
200 left. And that's kind of where the 200...
I would upgrade Inodu
But it doesn't really upgrade me to anything.
You can go from him to Walker.
I get it, but Seattle's defense is worse against the run.
Yeah, but I have no faith Arizona's going to hand it off.
I feel like they do. If you click on him, he actually, I believe, did get the ball last week.
I don't. What?
Right?
He's actually been getting the ball before.
Yeah.
Is he the goal line guy?
I don't know who he is. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what he is to this team.
All right. Well, let's.
But at that price point, the only other guy I would think about upgrading might be like Alec Pierce, but the value just isn't there. And then the defense too. The defense thinking about.
So you get up to 35 on your defense.
And you can't. And there's nothing at 35.
No, you're not taking the Steelers.
Right?
You're not taking the Chiefs.
I'm not taking the Bengals. I'm not taking Carolina. Like the Jets and the Falcons are the worst defenses on the sport.
Oh yeah.
And
I don't even know if there's a defense value I'd want to consider.
No, there isn't.
There's really not. Maybe
isn't.
The Colts, but you're already up at 41 by the time you get there.
And it's not worth it. The only defense at a high price point is Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm saying that wearing a Steelers jersey.
The Steelers are that bad.
That's where we're at right now.
They're that bad.
All right, well, that is lineup number 2. And since that's lineup number 2.
And there's no Ryan Tannehill in it, too.
That's true. But since that's lineup number 2, let's hit the commercial break button, and we'll be with you all a minute.
This episode is sponsored by the podcast Father and Joe. Father and Joe aims to bring individuals into a better relationship with God. Each episode discusses an element of the human experience that we all can relate to, as well as questions about faith. What are indulgences? What's going on with purgatory? Why can I mentally grasp the concept of God, but I don't feel him in my heart? During each episode of Father and Joe, we are invited to enhance our relationships, and in doing so, we will improve ourselves and society. Download Father and Joe every Tuesday. So we thank you for watching this episode of Local Football Flavor. We know there's a lot of different things you can be dealing with your time, so we appreciate you either listening or watching to us in whatever way you're digesting us here today. So we here at the episode want to try to request helping us out in one of 3 different ways, because all 3 ways will help us. First is the analytics. If you can either click like or subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on, it makes a tremendous difference, as those algorithms kind of control what our popularity will be, and you, our listeners, are the only one that can help us win those analytics games. So by clicking like and subscribe, it makes a tremendous deal for us, and leaving reviews and comments help tremendously as well. So that's what we ask as you as a listener to do. If you're interested in the show, you'd like to be a guest on the program, please reach out to us. We love talking to people, and it's our conversation about your favorite team, letting people know what's really going on that the national media normally misses. So we would love to have those conversations with you. And the third way is the sponsors. As you've noticed, we've already had some sponsors reach out to us here. You can see one down here in the corner. You can easily be in the scroller along the bottom, having your own personal message, as well as all other fun things like controlling the jersey I'm going to wear, or that little teddy bear behind me can be one of your team logos things. You can make me wear a stupid cheese head if that's what you want to do. All of those things are available by reaching out to us at localfootballflavor@gmail.com. We thank you guys very much for being a part of the show. And now let's resume to today's episode.
Flag back there. So yeah, as we're saying, we can have the flag back there being something that can be advertised as well for all you people who love the McDonald's.
Vanna Whited over here like that.
Yeah. All right, Bob, lineup number 2. What are you going with here?
I think we got to start with Tampa Bay's defense.
You just talked them up and you're bringing them home.
I think that at that price point, it's similar to the price point that we had of the defense the one time. Was it the Steelers defense that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work out very well, but Tampa's defense much better. They're playing the Steelers, and the Steelers are absolute garbage water right now.
Yeah.
Like, I know that pains you to say that in a room filled with Steelers.
It does.
But
dude, until Najee's healthy or whatever's figured out with him, this team ain't gonna work.
They're just bad. Now, I don't know, and that's something that we could definitely change if we want to bump down. But as we were saying, from the 4,000 all the way down to the 3,400,
I like the Packers.
There doesn't seem to be another defense that's worth the.
Well, the Packers, because the Jets suck. Justin Wilson sucks, dude. That guy's a turnover factory. That's what I mean. Zach Wilson's a turnover factory.
I would also consider the Rams, even though they haven't looked like they've been able to stop anybody. It seems like they probably could stop Carolina because they stopped themselves. The Packers is a decent play because their defense tends not to give up as much as their offense. Cleveland could be a surprise play, but they don't seem to be able to stop anybody.
Oh, don't touch Cleveland.
Go down a little bit. I'm just trying to think of defenses in case we get into financial.
I'm saying that the Giants, or correction, Green Bay is the one that you'd step down to save the 400, unless you're going all the way to the basement.
Yeah, you either have to stay up at the top or down at the bottom because nobody else.
Yeah, there's only 4 defense I want to touch this week. It's those.
Is not worth it.
All right. Who were you starting this on? Receivers, quarter.
Start it here.
Oh, this is the joint one. I thought.
No, I don't have a second one.
So we're doing 2 joint ones.
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't made a second one this week.
All right. Well, I always pick Cup because I love going with Cup, and I don't think anyone could stop him on this planet.
A little C Cup action.
That's right. But that being said, highest scoring game of the week. Is there any way it's not Buffalo, Kansas City?
I don't think so. I think if you're building a lineup here, you have to
stacking it.
you have to go Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, or Josh Allen.
I want
Gabe
Diggs
Davis.
because Diggs got overshadowed last week on Davis's big bombs.
I mean, it's pretty.
I'd always pick the high guy anyway.
It's pretty weird though, too. If we do get into some financial strategy,
which we're going to, because we're
can
already down to 61.
We can definitely go down to Patrick Mahomes.
Wait.
Patrick
How much does Mahomes save me?
8,600. That saves you approximately $600.
Oh, how much is Kelsey? If Kelsey's less than Diggs too,
Kelsey is yes.
Well, then we're just going to do the other side of the ball on the cheap. All right, we'll do Kelsey and Mahomes.
As possible that's going to be something that's going to look good, right?
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, that's just as viable of an option. Well, why don't we do that? All right, I'm good with that. Number 2 on the running backs.
Oof. I mean, somehow New England's actually kind of a good defense. I don't understand how. I don't understand why.
None of us winning that game. This is the beginning of the Cleveland implosion.
Couldn't play Chubb there. Leonard Fournette is definitely an option.
Leonard Fournette might be like a required option, actually.
He's definitely.
Let's just toss him in there. How much money does that put us? This is basically the $6,000 mark the rest of the way. Scroll down here and see if there's anyone else hiding. I do like that Kenneth Walker play we were talking about before.
Kenneth Walker plays good. Ramondre Stevenson is also a good play because Cleveland's...
I can't spend money on a Patriots back.
I understand, but Cleveland's defense was very, very bad against Austin Eckler. The metrics support that.
Well, that's because Eckler's a beast. Eckler wasn't playing. It was playing during his window. I'd have him in here.
I would. Depends on the price of Jeff Wilson. I'd also consider Jeff Wilson. Wow, seeing Najee that low is
oh, how the mighty have fallen.
How the mighty have fallen.
Did you see the story of Cam Akers today?
No, what happened to him?
He hasn't been in practice the last 2 weeks, and when they asked the coach said, him and I are working on some things. Which I basically just heard I kicked him out of the building.
But what that sounds like is
then look what they mark him as, personal.
What that sounds like is that the Rams are definitely going to trade.
They're going to throw the ball like crazy.
No, they're definitely going to trade with Carolina later this year.
God, how awesome would that be?
They're going to give them Akers, and they're going to Akers and a pick.
Akers and a 1.
And they're going to get back Christian McCaffrey. That just tells me that's what's going to
happen. Oh, my God, I would love that. I would love that so much.
That's what's going to happen. Right
Cam Akers is an ACC guy, and Carolina loves ACC guys. Yeah, we're talking about the Knowles, Paul.
But how is he still priced at 6,100? That doesn't even make
because they don't adjust it midweek.
Doesn't even make any sense. I mean,
is Patterson still injured?
Yeah.
Well, you were big on this guy last week. You were real big on him.
But I didn't put him into anything. But
he didn't do shit. All right.
He didn't do anything.
All right, he's out.
I mean, here's the
Henderson with Akers being out to me is worth it, especially since we have to be at the 6,000 neighborhood anyway. Because once we start getting down here,
he's definitely a playable character in this scenario.
I think he's the only viable one, really.
There is just so keep going down. I mean, out of all the players that are here, you might consider Caleb Huntley at 5,500 if Patterson is still down, but San Francisco's run defense is actually pretty decent.
What about Warren?
No, for the same reason that they're not even gonna do.
You're not gonna run the ball. They're not gonna run plays.
Go down. A sneaky pick.
Don't you dare say Drake.
No, a sneaky pick and a cheap pick here. DJ Dallas, with Seattle's running back situation with Rashad Penny going down, he is the number 2.
No. Walker's going to be the number 2. He was their second round pick. He's going to step in and take this.
Walker. No. That's what I'm saying. No, Walker is. Starting.
Oh, you mean he's the number 2 this week?
DJ is the number 2 this week. And if you look at his historical gameplay, he has had some good games.
But for $300, I get a starting running back that's going to be out there the whole time.
I hear you, but if you end up running into some problems with it,
that's not going to be where we're cheap out on $400. All right, so real quick check on the cash. We're still at the $6,000 point. Hopefully there's some happy receivers down there because obviously we can't spend my money on my top guys like I like doing. All right, so let's just go down to this ballpark here.
Keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, if Godwin plays, he could be a good.
I consider Johnson. We're going to be losing the whole game, and he can't drop everything, can he?
He can. He can try to.
They also just had Freiermuth out. That just got announced today too.
Oh my Lord! The problem with Deontay Johnson is they're going to be covering him like white on rice over here. Like,
you want to go Pickens?
I don't want to go with any Steelers wide receiver. Depends on the cost. I think Deontay at 6,300 is too much.
All right. Well, then
personally,
I think that means we're going to end up taking Pickens because he'll be cheap as hell.
I'm curious how much Randall Cobb is.
Yeah, we can look up Cobby.
Because he had a really good week last week.
He did. He just took over. 57. I'm totally good with throwing that in the list.
Even if he's like total butt, like.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it. This entire lineup is built around Kelsey, Fournette, and Mahomes. And we're just trying to steal some players here. So I like Cobb. You're absolutely right. There's a chance he blows up there. Pickens at 58. Valdez at 58, I also like.
Cool. I mean, depends on. So, yeah, I mean.
50, how? Whoa, wait, time out. Why is Thielen this low?
Thielen has not been performing very, very well. That's how
he's still getting 7 targets a game, though.
Yeah, but last week was a Dalvin Cook game. That's why he's low on the list. Is this week a Justin Jefferson game? Is this week
Miami could score? Game? It might make him a B.
At 5,900, it's a risky play because he's a low floor guy.
See, I would want to take Johnson because of all these people down here. Maybe Johnson. We could get Drake London in there too.
Drake London, they have not been giving him the ball. I mean, that's unfortunate for him.
But Johnson, look at that. That's double-digit targets 4 of the 5 games.
But he hasn't been doing anything with them.
Yeah, I don't think that lasts that way forever. And the way that Tomlin goes, I'm clicking him.
Hold on, yeah, add him to the lineup. That's fine. For the same reason you want to get a Buffalo player, Isaiah McKenzie could be a good value there at 6,000.
Yeah, he was hurt last week.
He was hurt last week against the Steelers defense, and the guy that they ended up replacing him actually caught a touchdown. So if he's out of concussion protocol,
decent targets.
If he's out of concussion protocol, he's a definite ad for me.
No indication of anything. So, all right, now I'm good with that. That kept us at 3 guys in our wide receiver room that averaged 6,000, which is exactly what we needed to do. We got 5,900 left for our flex.
Go down. Take out Tampa. I mean, you can take out Tampa and add Green Bay if you choose.
All right, let's do that.
That gives us a little bit more money to play with.
Yeah, I'm like I said, there's a chance the Jets just implode.
All right, it gives us
6,300 for the flex.
That doesn't give us much room to play with.
Hopefully there's a running back there. That's beautiful.
Benjamin's there.
You want to do Benjamin again.
Benjamin's there. It's been beautiful.
Who's that for?
Thank you. Wants it. Thank you. We just had a baby come in the room. A cool baby, but a baby nonetheless.
Oh, we should have done 2 of those. Nonetheless, are you really talking to me?
I'm not trying to.
Dude, I'm gonna pick Najee. Because at some point he's gonna get healthy.
You can't take 2 Steelers against one of the best defenses in the league.
Oh, you're right. I can't do that.
Like
I can't. You're right. You don't need to defend that anymore. What about Lazard?
I mean, the Duke of Lazard. You can't take 2 Packers wide receivers.
No, we don't have a Ram. And Higbee's something, man. He's getting the volume.
Click on Higbee. Yeah, he has an ankle injury this week. Let's see what happens.
Feels like he always has an ankle.
8 points last week.
But it's the targets, man. He's constantly getting targeted.
The targets are there. The volume is there for him to perform. If they get into the red zone, he's the guy. Cup's been taking.
I got him as the number 3 tight end.
Cup's been taking all those opportunities away by scoring the long touchdowns. So, we do have a Ram. We have Darrell Henderson. So if you do take 2 Rams, spread the wealth. You were talking Drake London. Like I said, his targets aren't there. What about Kyle Pitts? Where is he priced at?
That's a very good question.
He's
not playing. All right, that's why.
At 5,500, though, that's an interesting price.
Well, it's not interesting at all. He doesn't play.
Right. I'm just thinking.
Speed guys and hammies
I'm just
don't add
thinking
up.
for when he comes back, what he might be priced at when he comes back.
Yeah, that ballpark.
All right, let's see here.
So it is time to make a decision here. So
Keep going down because you keep stopping at Najee. Like you're like, I gotta pick that guy. We didn't click on London. I don't think he hasn't performed the last 2 games. I know it for a fact, but he has still been getting the targets.
Yeah. Yeah, but Higbee's getting me more targets for the same amount of results.
I would say that's fair. I mean, same results, same targets.
Although London has that potential of dropping a 20, and I'm not sure Higbee
But
does.
I think the fact that Pitts isn't on the field hurts London a lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if Pitts were on the field, London it definitely gets a little bit less respect. But on the field right now, he's not getting as much respect.
Yeah, and just point blank, who do you think scored more touchdowns this week, the Rams or the Falcons? I think that's pretty no-brainer.
I mean, the Rams haven't been scoring really a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, but at some point they're getting it back. I
Unless
did
they
say
get
on
Cooper
Tuesday that I bet the Rams ended up with more total points.
I
than
mean, okay,
Niners.
so here's the question I have to ask you.
Uh-huh.
Green Bay is sitting there on our defensive squad.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like their point output will be a large difference between Atlanta or a small difference? Because if we go back 16,
I got to say, I don't think the net is going to be greater than Najee versus whoever we can afford. So I get what you're saying. I think that sells me, let's go save that money and go buy something that's nice and shiny.
It's not going to be too shiny, but
Oh, yeah, Mixon's pretty damn shiny right there. And so is Evans against the Steelers secondary that just got said Mika's out.
bingo, bango, lock them in. Godwin is also a good play there too.
Well, any Tampa Bay receiver is good. Let's just start around Godwin on the next one because we got to do 2 of them here anyway. In fact, let's just not just start on Godwin. Let's stack him with Brady.
The Brady stack.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked out in the past.
The Brady stack is a potential stack. We stacked Leonard Fournette and Mike Evans in that one.
We did, which, again, worth it. That's the wrong Rodgers lineup. Too many Rodgers lineups. All right, and then the last of the 25ers here would be this one. Yeah, the rest of these already filled in, which is the great part of it. Of pre-buying them, it's already set.
Early.
Yeah. Well, yeah, make sure that you know your league's going to launch. So as we said, let's just click it. Godwin and Brady.
If it fits, it ships. He's cheap too.
He should be. Hasn't played in forever.
You spelled G-O-D. Put in G-O-D. He's here. There he is.
There he is. 68. That's pretty damn good. And then obviously
Not too much lower than Mike Evans, actually.
Yeah. And look, Brady's almost at the bottom of the page.
I don't understand how Brady's 7,500. I mean, I get it because he's been like not Tom Brady. But Tom Brady loves destroying the Steelers.
He loves destroying the Steelers.
What was his point output last week? I know it wasn't really high because Fournette really took the ball. Okay, it was high.
Sold a 20, nearly 20, yeah.
I mean, past 3 weeks, he's double digits.
He's not doing just one passing touchdown against the Steelers. No Minka. This game's going to be ugly. Well, I'm about to say that a lot. The only game that's not going to be ugly on the remaining Steelers schedule, by the way, is Miami.
How much is it to buy
because
all?
Of how much I hate
how
Miami.
much is it to buy all Buccaneers?
You want me to go Evans too? I mean, I've seen stupider things.
I mean, I don't know if we want to put this in the $25 lineup, but you know.
I don't think I want to put them both in, quite frankly, but that's the end of Tampa Bay.
No, you don't even need to put Mike Evans in. I was just simply stating that it's an option because that is the worst. It is the worst defense.
You know, someone who's been overlooked a lot this year that has obviously incredible raw talent against a defense that just got exposed by a really bad quarterback. I don't
Marquis
care
Brown?
what Geno
Marquis
Smith
Brown?
says.
Marquis Brown.
No, I'm going Jamar. New Orleans just got toasted. Now, granted, it was in Seattle,
Okay,
but
go to Jamar. This is the problem that I have with him.
let's talk it.
All right, you're
12 targets last week. I like that.
you're looking at. So T. Higgins didn't play last week.
True.
And Jamar Chase is sitting here, and Burrow didn't have to do much, but I don't really like him this week at that price point.
You don't like him?
Not at that price point.
All right.
I mean, I'm okay with it, but I don't like him at that price point over Marquis Brown.
Gotcha.
Because Seattle seems to have somewhat of a defense, but it's not that good.
Fair enough.
Like, if you look at what Seattle, like, I don't know how Seattle is ranked 8th in defense.
It don't make sense.
Like,
because you look up,
if you click on Marquis Brown, he has been getting double-digit targets for it's got to be like 4 straight weeks. 4 straight weeks.
I'm all for that buzz.
Totally crushing it against bad,
really against Philly's
good defense.
Yeah, clicking it. Give me Hollywood because this defense is not as good as Philly's. It's just not.
No, I mean it just can't be.
And Tyreek Hill's a no touch. He was in a boot. He was in a cast. It's no touch.
Yeah, you can't touch him there. So then,
you want to just save for buying a cheap receiver or a cheap running back? How much money are we at here? Because we didn't go crazy with the quarterback.
we still have a lot.
60. Well, let's throw the defense in because we know we're going cheap there. Just want to start with Atlanta and write Atlanta off all of them.
Yeah, just put Atlanta in.
All right.
It's the least defensible option here. They suck, but like San Francisco.
They suck, but all the
I mean,
money
it
you're
was
saving.
my reasoning last week to take Carolina. So this is where I have a problem with Atlanta.
Ooh.
I took Carolina's defense last week, and and San Francisco exposed them. So I'm not okay with that, actually.
All right, and then I'm throwing Bellinger in for all the reasons I argued before with him, how he's going to greater share, greater role. That gets our average up to 74.5. We can really buy some talent on these next 4 picks by choosing to go cheap on Atlanta and cheap on Bellinger and moderately cheap on Brady.
Here's why I wouldn't pick Kelsey in this lineup. Because
Can't afford it.
Well, you can't afford it, but also, I mean, and this isn't a case against Kelsey, is that Buffalo doesn't necessarily have, I guess, the players to stop them, but they do have the know-how to be like, hey, we are going to not let Travis Kelce do the same play all the time. He will not score 4 touchdowns.
You think they'll put a defensive end up against him in the middle of the field? That was my favorite play of that game.
I mean, look at it. Look at his stats though. Like, I mean, he put up 33 points last week.
Oh, it was so awesome.
And he's averaging
8 catches, 8 targets, 4 touchdowns.
Like, he's averaging a crazy amount of points. Like, I could see this as being a high output yardage
Dude, that's also
game.
4 yards a catch.
Yeah. I could see this being more like week 3 or week 4, which is still a great Travis Kelce.
Oh,
pick.
yeah.
But at the price point.
Well, he's not getting 4 touchdowns again. I mean, let's be crazy here.
No, but I mean, he only had 25 yards. So, like, that's the scary thing about it is that is his lowest reception or not his lowest reception, his lowest receiving yards output.
Yeah, Valdez-Scantling was open everywhere.
I think he had. But, like, that's the case to argue against Travis Kelce at that price point.
Oh, yeah. And Bellinger has just been forced more and more in the offense. Baltimore's going to score. That's just the way it is.
If you want to go cheap and you're waiting on something good to happen, George Kittle in this lineup could be a good play too at 5,700.
Well, let's see if we have I like saving the 1,000 and getting Bellinger. So let's go.
No. I'm saying in the flex.
Oh, well, all right. Well, let's see where the running back room takes us.
He would be arguably the cheapest, most talented flex as an option.
Yeah.
I don't really like him, but
I like McCaffrey in his tryout for his new team. If we're going to spend some money here.
Yeah, I mean, you love McCaffrey.
I do.
It's a, you know.
I also love Fournette, but we're not going with all Tampa's
I
offense.
think you could because the Steelers are that bad. You know, a sneaky pick here, if you don't want to go Fournette, go with Rashard White. Rashard White, for this instance in time, saying if this game gets out of control,
You saying they bench
it's
Fournette?
the Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery avenue here, right?
Mhm.
If in the game
was disappointing.
We wanted David Montgomery. We wanted David Montgomery to start. He didn't play. He played one player, one drive.
He did nothing.
And then Khalil Herbert took over because David Montgomery got hurt.
That was last night?
No, that was like 2 weeks
I was
ago.
saying that's the explanation for last night.
No. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we had Montgomery. Herbert went off. Right? This is my case for Rashard White because I think Rashard White is probably priced at 5,700, 5,600. If you put Rashard White, that will allow you to take Cooper Kupp and Christian McCaffrey, I believe.
Sold. And then we'll figure out the rest. How much money did that leave us with? 6,500, Bob. Woo! We got some cash here.
I'm not saying it's the necessarily the best play, but that game could get out of control.
Well, let's see what he's done in the past as we just went through that here. He's their third down back, right?
He plays.
He must have got hurt in this game.
I mean, the last 2 games he's played. And those games were not out of control. And he played.
No, against Kansas City it wasn't. And
it's arguably against a worse defense.
Our defense is probably worse than Atlanta. It's more talented on paper,
right.
But it's not doing it.
I would also argue if you
without Minka, we might not be more talented.
I will say if you don't want to play Rashard White, if you look up Otton, Otton, the tight end, he's a tight end.
Oh, for the flex?
For the flex.
No.
No. Look at how much he costs.
You're not going to get cheaper than Bellinger.
No. You do get cheaper than Bellinger.
No, you don't. He's 300 more.
So he's 300 more.
No, I like Bellinger more.
You know, it's an option. But this is also against the Steelers defense.
This is also before Godwin was in, too. Godwin's going to take all those catches away.
It is ravaged. So if, Godwin plays here, taking Rashard White is, it's an option that allows you to play 2 big boppers and still have a lot of money for your flex.
What if we did? All right, let's go see who's in White's neighborhood that's just a little bit more expensive than him. He's 52. So what if we were looking at people down here?
None of them are worth it. Rashard White is the only one at that value.
Jerick McKinnon could be because he was getting the ball a lot. I am 100% not sold on Hilaire. Of course, him getting the ball a lot still ain't netted to 8 points. He doesn't get touchdowns. The touchdowns on that team do not go to him.
They can, but he has to make that happen. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at garbage water, unless you're looking at like DJ Dallas, which is also.
So he's definitely in the ball over Randall Jones.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look, so if you go to Tampa Bay's running backs, if you just search the players for Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers, which is right there. I mean, Keyshawn Vaughn is another option. So you look at Keyshawn Vaughn at 4,600. Click on him. He got a touchdown last
this
week.
Can't be right. That's one of 4 games.
Right.
That's last year.
That's last year.
So he hasn't gone. It means he hasn't gone to the game this year.
Yeah. So I mean, I see Rashard White as being, for the same reason we like Leonard Fournette. I think Leonard Fournette could potentially get like 3 or 4 touchdowns, but
we're banking on them throwing them.
We're banking on them throwing them, and we're also banking on the value that getting Cooper Kupp in the lineup and getting Christian McCaffrey in the lineup could get us more points.
That's absolutely what we're doing. So we go over here now to Mostert's out, Bateman's out.
6,500 lets you put Kenneth Walker in the lineup if that's something you would think about and want to do.
Well, all right, well, let's go down and see what the 5,200 flex options are.
It also allows you, well,
it allows 5,200 flex if we put in Walker at running back, because flex gives you more options than just that. So for 5,200 in flex, we're looking at. Oh, you do love you some Elijah Moore, though.
No, not this week. He didn't do anything last week. That Almighty Zacchaeus caught a touchdown last week. That's not a reliable indicator of his talent, but
it'd have to be 52 or less.
Option. Shee Smith. I read this Carolina box score and I said, did they bring back Steve Smith? I read that and I was like, did they bring back Steve Smith? Because I just saw him catching the ball and I was like, who is this guy? And it just said S. It just said S Smith.
5 targets against the hardest pass defense there is.
And so,
although no quarterback, so that's what. Oh, what are you? Knox has been the trap of the season.
Knox hasn't played.
Yeah.
I don't believe he's even played. Okay, he has. I mean, but it hasn't felt like it.
Yeah, that's my point. He has just been.
These players down here, Isaiah Hodgins was the guy that went off last week that would have been like 3 times his value last week. If you click on him, I presume that's like Isaiah Mckenzie type numbers there. If you do Hodges, I would foresee that could be your Isaiah Mckenzie option a little bit more. Go down a little bit more. I mean, Tylan Wallace might be playing a little bit more with Bateman out. Will Dissly is another tight end option, but he's definitely more expensive than Bellinger.
No, let's just go with Walker. I think that's a good answer because we know Carroll's going to want to run the ball, and then we'll just stick with White for the answer you sold. So when we look at this lineup, it really comes down to the accepting the fact that I'm going to be drinking a lot as Tom Brady torches the Steelers again. I mean, that's basically what I'm accepting. And we just have really hope it goes to Godwin instead of Evans.
Well, I mean, the other way to play this.
When's the last time the Steelers were worse against the run and the pass in the same season? Because I think we're about to hit it. Because we're already worse against the pass, and Minka's not playing.
Here's what I'm also proposing. This lineup is I think a potential lineup here. I'm proposing that if you don't know which one of these Tampa Bay wide receivers will hit,
which you don't,
you take both.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Hollywood in though and diversify because I know Hollywood's getting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying that because if you take that Marquis Brown down, well, I mean, Evans was 7,700, right?
Yeah, but
it's not enough.
I like this lineup. We spent all the money. I like when we spent all the money. We have some studs in there, man. I think Bellinger is going to end up being the most undervalued player of the week. Maybe them and Atlanta's defense. I mean,
Atlanta's defense is just the defense you have to take if you want to have Cooper Kupp in your lineup.
Well, that's true, too. But, again, for the same reason we said at the beginning of the show, I don't think there's any points scored in that game. They both want to run the ball like crazy. When that happens, you get like a 17-20 game, and that's not enough points to make you lose on defense. So, I mean, to me, this might be my favorite of all the lineups we've met, even though it has White in it. I love McCaffrey.
The White pick is purely speculative.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that. And quite frankly, the McCaffrey is the only person on the Rams. And I really do. I think I'm on the bus with you, Bob. That could be a tryout game. What would he look like in our building? All right, now let's see what it looks like keeping him here. Hey, don't bother giving that team playing, baby.
Yeah.
We're going to put a first-round draft pick in their spot.
We're going to give you our boy Cam Akers.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a first or whatever pick we have left.
Cam's already on the tarmac.
Right? And the problem is the Rams don't have any picks left. I mean, they trade them all away.
Who the hell cares? People keep taking them.
They'll give them a future first round.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
Plus Cam Akers and see what happens. I mean, that's definitely a tryout game right there. I mean, week 8, you said to me the other day, what is the trade deadline? It's coming up.
This is week 6 right now.
It's coming up. This is the game that this guy, Christian McCaffrey, is going to probably pop off. I mean, what's his point totals the past couple of weeks? Because I don't have him on any team, so I haven't really been paying attention to him.
Hey, he's been balling, dude. He's been like, this is why he was the first pick overall in many leagues.
He's crushing it. So, like, I mean,
can't fight it.
The Rams will be like, hey, baby.
Last week, San Francisco was the number 1 rush defense. He put up 20 against them, and that took him out of number 1 by himself. Now the Rams are number 1, and they're not as good as San Francisco.
How is he not the most expensive player?
Well, people are playing Pittsburgh, Bob.
No, at his position.
Because Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb is doing stupid shit. I mean, look at it. Nick Chubb doesn't have a week under 15. Now, granted, he's done it against some cupcakes, but Nick Chubb ain't doing it this week, though. Bill Belichick is not going to let that happen. He is going to make them try to beat you with a below-average quarterback and a way overrated receiving room. We've been doing this for 6 weeks now, Bob. I've never had a Cleveland receiver, and there's a reason for that.
I took Amari Cooper, and it really boned me.
Oh, man, they're going to fuck you.
Really.
All right, let's hit submit and send it home, man.
Send it home. I really would like to. Man, I would really like to see an all Tampa lineup. Just even.
Well, let's see what one would look like real quick.
Because I think you could build an all Tampa lineup and still put Cooper Kupp in it.
Oh, I don't know. You get the problem with the second running back, unless you want to put both of them in there. All right, let's go pull out another one here.
I'm just highly curious.
Want me to do a little $10 crazy here? I can't promise I'll actually submit this one, but we can look.
I just want to speculate what it would look like.
Let's speculate. Strict filter, Bucks.
Yeah, all Tampa Bay. Fournette. Is it even possible?
We're going to keep going until it says we can't. Julio or Gage? It's basically a toss-up.
Gage.
Oh, Bob. It's going to work. Julio's still getting in.
No, I don't. Okay. Oh, my God. It's so gross. It's so gross. And we still have 3,200 we can buy Cooper Kupp.
Let's take Gage out.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can we buy Cooper Kupp? We're so close. We're so close.
But you could get Hollywood.
Oh, my gosh.
We're not doing that. But that's a fun closing note there, Bob. Let's end it here on the full screen.
Oh, man. That I understand that the metrics don't follow that all of those players will score points.
No way it's possible.
But it's just too juicy to not put in on a 5-cent.
I mean, really, how much do you think that Tampa scores? You think they get above 35?
I mean, realistically, they're probably going to score like 28 to 34 points.
Yeah.
But the yardage totals seem like they could be just disgusting.
Yeah, because that's the one thing. Our punter's doing good. That can give them more yards. Because our punter's killing the ball.
Like if I'm
the best player right now.
Like I would submit this lineup with Hollywood Brown in it.
Yeah.
To a 5-cent league for sure.
Well, then you can go ahead and
100%.
Because
I mean, minus Julio too. I don't really.
All right, so take Julio out.
You still have 14.
You now can afford Cup, and then you're back to buying pizza crap.
Yeah, you could.
Or you can put it in Hollywood, and you got 6,100 for a legit player.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible that this lineup smacks 7 ways to Sunday.
Yeah, the one we're committed for, though, is the Godwin-Brady stack.
Yeah, the Godwin-Brady stack is going to probably be really gross.
I think so, too.
I mean, he loves Mike Evans, but he also really likes Chris Godwin. And the Steelers defense, they have nobody.
All right, so since we have, this is all against the Steelers, right? Mm-hmm. They are the 4th easiest to play against on defense. 12th hardest at tight end, which is our best, but Edmonds is hurt. He's the one who covers him. Worst against wide receivers, and 17th against running backs.
And 28th.
Against quarterbacks.
Somehow,
how are they not last in both wide receivers and quarterbacks?
That doesn't make any sense. that I guess it's because it
I
averages.
bet the tight end is on category. That must be like Mahomes put up so many points with Kelsey. That the tight end difference right there.
Yeah, but it could also balance out. Like they might be the worst to wide receivers, but 12th to tight ends.
That's what it is. Yeah,
because they haven't played any tight ends. Like if you go to the Steelers right now, just go to the Steelers lineup because I mean Knox didn't do anything. Obviously,
no, Knox didn't do it. None of the Buffaloes. Well, that's the thing. It's not that we're good against them. It's Gabe Davis is wide open. Why the hell not?
Nobody's played them.
Yeah, like you don't need to.
Like I could foresee Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, Mike Evans, each having a touchdown, each having 80+ yards. Leonard Fournette running for 2 touchdowns. Rashard White catching a touchdown. So Tom Brady gets 3 touchdowns, 400 yards passing. I mean,
I have seen Brady drop 50 on the Steelers.
I'm not the type of person to manifest things into existence, but if there's any week where this manifests itself into existence, it has to be this week.
And there's no team he hates more than us. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, the all of the metrics, all of it lines up that starting a all Tampa lineup in a DFS.
If you ever were going to do one, if you're ever going to do a team that wasn't called Kansas City or Buffalo, this would be the week. Had you done the all Buffalo last week, you probably had to have won, right?
Can you look at that from last week? Can you look at the history?
You can't. But I gotta, because you won't be able to know how much they cost.
Oh, yeah. But like
Buffalo doesn't have a running back.
I mean, if you click on Buffalo, I mean Singletary didn't do anything. If you go to all players for just Buffalo, we can look at what they did last week.
We'd have to click them all.
Yeah, but there's not that many that click. I mean, click Diggs and Gabe Davis and then Shakir. Oh, Shakir was the guy that scored the touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so Diggs put up 20, and I don't even think he scored a touchdown.
Gabe Davis put up 30.
Yep.
And then Shakir was the guy that ended up getting the other touchdown.
He got the Mckenzie yardage, and he put up 15.
Right, so you're popping
right
pretty
there.
good there.
And then Allen had to put up 50.
No, Allen put up like
36.
35. Yeah.
All right, that's the whole thing you were complaining about last week, about how your receiver should never score more than your quarterback.
Yeah, it's absurd. Your tight end, you would have lost on Knox, of course. Your running backs, you would have lost on Singletary.
Yeah, you can't really. Buffalo, you can only go with Diggs or Davis.
Mm-hmm. And Allen.
Well, obviously Allen. Yeah.
Right, and the defense.
The team we ignored this entire time, at least I did, because Bateman's hurt, is Baltimore. I just don't want to bet on Lamar ever. That's a personal Steelers thing. It might cost me.
I mean, I think that the Giants are actually pretty secretly decent.
That's true.
So
that's true.
That game could that.
Who are they playing this week, by the way? Oh,
they're playing each other. Baltimore and the Giants are playing each other.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't want to touch any of the Baltimore players. But if I
dude, how about that night game, Dallas and Philly? I think Philly destroys them.
I mean, it could also equally go the other way, where it's.
I don't see Cooper Rush going undefeated.
Where it's a low-scoring game.
I don't think so. I don't think Philly hasn't been in a low-scoring game. Philly scores every week.
Philly's the number 1 team in the league.
Yeah,
they're 5-0.
I think they go in Jerry World and just punch him in the face.
It's possible
because Cooper Rush is not going undefeated. I think that's just like the one thing I can guarantee. He's just not.
I don't think he's allowed to.
Yeah, so therefore, I think Philly goes big. If Philly was on this list, I would definitely have Miles Sanders in there, for sure.
I can see that.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, with that being said,
I mean, even if you go with this all Tampa lineup and you don't want Rashard White, you can even take him out, and you have 1950 to get 3 position players, right?
Yep.
I mean, that is $6,500 a man. I mean, we're all on Buffalo right now. You can easily put Gabe Davis into this lineup.
Yeah.
Against Kansas City. And that could be your third wide receiver. You could probably put I mean, I know it's not up on the screen anymore here for anybody to see, but we're just kind of playing around here to see what kind of lineup to pair with this. But if you wanted to do that all
here, let's pop it up so people can see it.
Tampa lineup.
Oh, wrong one.
I just got real big all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Your running back could still be.
So we need to be around $6,000 here. You want to go the other way, like the hedge your bet. Put in Najee. The complete hedge your. The injured as hell Najee.
I mean, I think if you're building a lineup like this, Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne are probably going to be in it.
I'd probably go Walker.
Breece Hall is too expensive.
And if we go Walker, where would your flex end up?
How much for the flex?
61 apparently.
6,100. I mean,
yeah, Zion Mckenzie.
You're sitting right in the zone of Mckenzie, Ertz.
Oh, Tyler Boyd might be a selection. How did he do last week without Higgins out there?
I don't really remember. Nothing. That game was weird, dude.
That game was so stupid. All right.
I mean, even if you don't like it, even if you don't like Rachaad White, there is other players that you can put in that have the same value on that. And as long as you get the main pieces of the offense. It's just that Rachaad White provides you so much more room because there's rarely a bag. I mean, we tried it with Zamir White, and Zamir White ended up not playing.
It's never worked well, Ace. Didn't work when we put Chicago's back up in.
You know,
I see it work when we put Dylan in.
Yeah, if you were to put in two garbage running backs that you would rely on in garbage time and/or weird plays, DJ Dallas and Rachaad White are probably the only times you would ever play these two guys this week. And that allows you to buy basically Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And then basically you're just playing with that money and hoping that DJ Dallas and Rachaad White do something. I know a lot of people disagree with that strategy, but it is a high boom, very high bust potential.
Sure is. Well, we thank everyone for watching today, and we will be with you guys next week. Wait, click that little button.